Welcome back to Winning the Game of Life. I'm your host Shawn Chhabra. Today I'm proud to feature a very special lady. Her name is Izabela Lundberg, and she is a leading authority on executive leadership transformation. She's a consultant, mentor, speaker, and on top of that, she is an international best-selling author. Welcome to the show, Izabela.
Thank you, Shawn. It's great to be on your show and be part of the Winning the Game of Life.
I know a little bit about you, but not really that much. And maybe some of my listeners and viewers have seen you on internet and LinkedIn and all over the social media. But how about you take a minute and introduce yourself to my listeners and viewers?
Sure. I am, in many ways, I feel like a global representative because I had opportunity to live in 5 different countries before actually migrating to Europe. So, from Europe to US. So I'm kind of European transplant in the United States, and traveled extensively. I had a privilege to work with people from over 80 countries, traveled to over 40, and English is my 6th language. So one of the personal accomplishments and achievement is being that poster child of transformation, but also I have a long experience in C-suite executive consulting with a background in education and global business management, as well as leadership and organization. I have a master's degree in leadership organization, and where I really recognize the need to work on strategic innovation and change, but also development of organizations and training, which also actually does mostly focus on individuals, the teams, to transforming them in order to be the best they can be.
Wow, what an introduction. So we had to expand upon that, but how about you just start from your real background, like where you came and how you became what you are today?
I came originally from former Yugoslavia, and I had a fortunate situation where I was a young teenager and experienced in war-torn country, former Yugoslavia. I escaped. I unfortunately lost my dad, home, family members, but I was privileged and very grateful to fight in order to make my sister come to Sweden and for her to survive and thrive in a new environment due to her health issues. And then I traveled and also lived in 5 different countries, obviously in Europe, for each of those pretty much being on my own as a young adult. And I endured a lot of change and transformation in my personal life, and take the course to continue to be the best I can be and motivated in order to accomplish a lot of personal and professional goals. Learn the languages. As I mentioned, English is my 6th language, so just having that opportunity to play the crucial role, whatever I end up living in society as well, professionally and personally, made a huge impact. And that really contributed tremendously to successes that I experienced when I immigrated to the United States.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear all that. You came from war-torn country like Yugoslavia,
Yes.
And but you're still very young, and in that young age you went through all that. So how you was able to handle, and how you are able to emotionally and mentally you're able to deal with even now?
That is an excellent question, Shawn, and that is exactly what propelled over the years. I actually had a privilege and opportunity to work with people from over 80 countries, as I mentioned, and majority of those people were actually first or their family members, survivors of genocide, torture, war trauma, human trafficking, slavery, rape victims from all over the world. And when I realized how much of the pain and agony and huge impact that is happening to people around the world, I knew that it's not just me, I'm not alone. But I also chose and selected to be a cheerleader and to be very motivational and inspirational for them, to show that it's possible to adopt and acculturate, learn a new language, but also to play the big role, even though maybe we're not given all those opportunities, by creating those opportunities. And that's really what helped me out through the course of my last 20 plus years, constantly moving from different countries, different cities, before I resettled in Denver, Colorado, here in the United States. But obviously, it is all about attitude. It's all about how we perceive the life and how we look at things.
But how this all international leadership and the word messenger, and I see you growing that quickly. So how you're balancing all that, and what is that about?
Sure. I mean, obviously, my personal background and story propelled me to. I always wanted to write a book, and I had for over a decade heard firsthand horrific stories of people that experienced directly those atrocities that I mentioned, or family members indirectly or somewhat, and then dynamics that created and hinder people to really flourish. I also had a chance to look at how people who did not experience anything were responding to those individuals, and how sometimes we had a clashing or very great complementary perspectives where actually we can grow and contribute and see value from both sides, right? So I recognized early on it's great to be motivational and inspirational, but till hit me till I had one gentleman, Sufi master, say, "Izabela, you the girl who helped us to discover and restore our own dreams again." And then I got this huge validation. You are also very transformational, Izabela, and you should be focusing on transformation. And it was very interesting. I always heard so much people using leadership in so many different ways that almost diluted the value of what true leadership is about. And one of the key things that I look at how important leadership it is, I strongly believe the transformation, it's part how we also look at how effective someone is a leader. Are you making transformation? Besides you inspire and motivate, are you transform these individuals? Are you making them better? Are they able to continue on their own paths on their own with a lot of renewed strength, right? Are you being a great mentor? Are you being a great coach or great consultant? And quickly as I expand my reach in corporate America, I recognize it doesn't matter if I'm talking with an entrepreneur like yourself, or small, medium, or large Fortune 500 company, issues and same dynamics and paradigms are there. It's just a different angle and position, and a little bit maybe different language how you approach that. And that obviously brought it to opportunity for me to be able to actually create a book, The World Messenger from Fear to Greatness, because I use all the wealth of knowledge and information that I had over the years to create this #1 international best-selling book, but also to really thread how important it is to have a global perspective, even though you own and have your own business in very local, small setting, and you think that your reach is very small, but just because, again, technology, innovation, and everything that is happening and changing around us, allowing us to have this major big exposure on the larger global scene. So it's also a great way to bring the value, but also to solve complex issues by having that very global perspective, which I think is essential. And then second piece around the leadership was, you mentioned, I strongly also believe a legacy. What is your legacy? What's your footprint? And a lot of times people think, oh, somebody has to die and somebody needs to inherit a lot of money and that's their legacy. I'm like, no, you actually live in your legacy right now, Shawn, by what you're doing to inspire and transform and change around your reach that is extremely global by podcasting, also your computer company and everything you accomplish as an immigrant entrepreneur, which I also align very much with because I'm an immigrant entrepreneur myself. So having the perspective, so to having transformation and legacy leadership as a core of leading, I think it's a premise for tremendous success. And that's how World Messenger came about.
Wow, like with all the smart devices, literally, truly you can reach the whole human race, and you can influence them, you can help them, you can get their help, and they are no different than your next door neighbor.
Absolutely, and one of my big, huge goals and objective is in my lifetime to actually create and support and develop over 1 million legacy leaders, new generation of leaders that are living their legacy today and moving forward and threading that throughout their life and footprint where they're going to make impact. That's exactly that. But also interesting piece, I just want to piggyback on this, Shawn, if I may, is when you are asking me how leadership and also World Messenger came about, I also recognize how much fear is present in our environments. and how much people are paralyzed in order to make a positive change and transformation in their life. A lot of times people get stuck and they blame others, and they don't realize how much they personally hinder their own growth and change and transformation. But also some people just simply don't know how. So I just said, I can't look anymore this pain. We're stronger, more capable than we really give ourselves credit to. And for over a decade, I really had a chance to look at and experience and sense and have a keen smell and taste and flavor of different types of fear, that I could very easily identify that based on people's nonverbal, which is over 94% of communication, and truly understand and assess where people are, where they want to quote unquote seduce me and think where they think they should be or they are versus in reality where truly they are. So it helps me tremendously also to help them with their own personal issues and transformation. And that is kind of my gift, to help people to unlock their own greatness and reach that life that they truly deserve.
Now I'm scared. Like in place of audio podcast, we are having a video recording right now, and you can see 100%.
Your hands aren't changing your face.
You can see all my fears now, so you can. Well, that is not bad actually. What you're going to notice, you're going to help me based upon that anyway.
I mean, it's very important. Joe kind of said, and I love your playfulness here. It's important to be playful and have fun, obviously, because we take everything way too seriously, or we simply go on completely in the right field and don't take accountability and responsibility for anything. It's always good to have the balance. I mean, fears. So, I'm being through true dangers, and I know what danger is versus what perception of something that I might be afraid and fearing that may happen. It's completely two different things. But the key is also to really, for us, to unlock our own passion and recognize why we're doing what we're doing and what we are really excited about, and then allow ourselves to transform and unlock that, right? So that's how also concept of greatness comes about. But one piece I want to share with you about the fear, I know you were interested when we were chatting some other occasion, and I want to share that with your audience. It's just so funny that when people ask me, it's like, Izabela, what are common fears? And I actually am writing a book called 50 Shades of Fear. And not to be piggybacking 50 Shades of Grey, but as you also know from neurological standpoint, it's been identified through science that are really core 50 fears that are truly crippling us, or simply by mastering them and controlling them effectively, allowing us to have everything we desire and want to have, right? And live the life to full happiness, satisfaction, to have that smile on your face no matter what else is happening, like you have, Shawn, since I first time met you. And then really carry that through life, that true enthusiasm, that genuine care and sense of wanting to contribute and make a change and transformation or positive impact. And guess what? What would you say their top 5 fears based on what you experienced or heard in entrepreneurial arena or people around you?
I mean, it's a stability, number one, and the people see, the minute they see something, they think, oh, I'm scared, I don't want this, I don't want change. They want to stay wherever they are. They don't want to go to the other side. And the other thing is, a lot of time, like they look in the mirror, they say, no, I can't do it. If they don't have confidence, if they don't like themselves, how other people will like? If they don't encourage themselves, how anybody else will encourage them? But the real failure is like, real reason like people feel is like, I'll fail. They just think I'm going to fail. And they are sometimes also worried what other people will think if they fail. Mm-hmm. Or during their struggle, people will be laughing at them or their story. They don't want to be in that position. But then another thing is, their inner emotion is out of balance when they're trying to do something different. Mm-hmm. And kind of you can say that's a fear of success, because their inner word and outer word doesn't coincide. That is my take on fear. I don't know. You are an expert and I'm not. So
Actually, you actually picked up 3 major ones of top 5, which is fantastic. And I kind of want to go quickly backwards. And the reason I'm pointing out, this came very apparent over my research when I was writing the book, The World Messenger, From Fear to Greatness, Business, Sports, and Life Lessons. I interviewed over easily 100 people on 6 continents in high positions in C-suite executives, all the way to professional athletes and coaches. And I threaded some of the stories in this book that I mentioned, The World Messenger. And I came from very global perspective. And I threaded very interesting stories of perseverance and survival and transformation and impact. And every chapter of the book also has a little worksheet where you also can read and reflect and really look at how relevant this is to you, which I learned and feedback I received that it's been very much so transformational, just the book itself as a work study pieces alone. But where I'm coming with this concept is, and why I started also working immediately on another book, it's exactly because everybody said, Izabela, we need to know more about fear. We'll look at you as an expert. We need to know more about how survivors and how people that endured so much are finding the hope and passion to continue their life and ditching the fear and all the issues that are dealing on daily basis. And number 5, based on my research, when I worked on The World Messenger and now more in detail with 50 Shades of Fear, came up to be really the criticism, criticizing inner criticism and external criticism, you know? So you definitely got that. The other one is fear of failing, which you really mentioned true. It's like sometimes we'll not try because we're so programmed that we'd rather not fail and not try just because it's not acceptable because we're adults, we're not kids anymore, which is so wrong, right? And then we also have a fear of success as a number 3, which is very interesting because we want it to be successful deep down. We think we're capable, able, we deserve, but then we really ditch that just because it depends which environment we're exposed, either growing up or currently or current circumstances. And when you're more equipped and developed as a leader, and one of the core traits as a leader is emotional intelligence. And that's the reason I'm bringing this up. You cannot be a good leader if you don't have a good emotional intelligence, if you don't have a good sense of self-awareness and who you are and self-esteem, right? If your ego is taking control, every time when ego is taking control, it's 100% guaranteed that fears creeping in, and with few words you can quickly identify because of what is the core reason, what is the core issue. But this is very interesting. You mentioned earlier rejection, and I found the rejection to be number 2. People are so not emotionally intelligent anymore to accept when somebody says, no, I would not like to date you, or no, I'm not interested in this program or this joint venture or this partnership, or this doesn't feel right, or I'm simply not ready. Even when somebody is doing that with kindness and compassion, people take that so deeply personally. People lash, people are angry, frustrated, and I see so much rage just because don't have a capacity to really handle rejection in healthy, balanced way. But this is all coming to the number 1, and I think if we solve this, we will not have issues. And it's possible. In my world, it's possible. I'm sure you will love that I grew up supporting Mother Teresa charity because she was from former Yugoslavia, in India, which you're from, where you're from, and also later on in Africa. I'm sorry, in Africa, then in India. But also Mahatma Gandhi's principles, and obviously later on Dalai Lama. And one of the things I also recognize, number 1 fear, it's not about speaking. All these pieces come later. But it is truly love, self-love, self-respect, understanding that I love myself enough to do right the decisions and choices and to do well-being for me. That is including my physical, mental, emotional, right? Spiritual pieces of it. And then we also have, obviously, how we allowed others to love us. I met so many people around the world, and everybody have a different interpretation how ideally loving of them should look like. Unless you share that, how someone who truly does love you will understand that what they are offered to you is also coming from a place of love, just because it's different. And then also, So allowing that love from others, but also loving others in a way that is truly not conditional. It's not depending what I can gain and what you can give me and quick rewards and those things that truly take away building the solid relationship and trust. Either we're talking about in personal life or we're talking about it in business.
Okay, that was very inspirational, but I have to ask you and tell you something. Like when you talk or anybody talk about unconditional love, the real problem starts when we were babies, like we were just 2 months old, nothing much was expected of us. But after that, the minute even our parents start giving us the food, clothing, and even we were like only 6 months old or 1 month old or 1 year old, we were told or expected. They gave me, so they say thank you. They gave me, so I must smile. I must do this. I must do that. So from that time, we are so programmed to see. Everybody say that was unconditional love. This is unconditional love. I do not know that is what is unconditional. Probably unconditional was until I was maybe 30 days old. So you tell me what is true unconditional love? Like even if I'm looking in the mirror and I'm talking about myself to myself, and I want to do this and this and this and this. So even at that time, I'm so proud of myself. I like work hard. I work towards whatever I want. I pursue my passion. That's why it's end of the day. Everybody's gone home. It's after business hours, and I'm chatting with you. So even there's always self-doubt. Like I'm on the right path. I'm really doing it right, and so that is lack of confidence. So that is lack of true love.
We all go through transformation, and some days we're stronger and some moments we're weaker. Depends what's going on in our life. I mean, when I want to share a piece of my personal story. I'm genocide, torture, war, trauma survivor. In recent years, I also survived the cancer. And I lived on my own in 5 countries as a young adult with no supervision, no mentor, no parents, nobody. So with that in mind, I had to learn and also bring that core values from my home, how I'm raised, to truly put that in application. How I treat people around you, how I show them the way I want to be treated, and how I treat myself to persevere, to be the best I can be, right? That was always my motivation, my goal. Always something I was thinking how my dad will be proud of me. What will be my legacy that I will leave behind? What he will think about if I do this or I do that. Just because when you lose people you love and they gave in you so much core value, you can't just ever pretend it never happened, right? So also if they told you eating fast food is not good or eating anything excessively, it's not good for you, and you continue doing, then you are subconsciously and consciously sabotaging yourself. So we all have choices. Sometimes we need a little bit something to do to have that extra piece of cake, right? Or whatever it is, or skip maybe one day of workout. But the reality is that you love so well and so much yourself, and you're aware of not to be narcissist and egoistic, but in terms of that, you put your needs priority, so then you are the best version of you, so you can be the best husband you can be, the best father you can be, the best boss you can be, and everything else that comes and that's important to you. And the way I was raised was specifically in culture that it's very male dominant, and some people will say chauvinistic, which is a little bit strong way to say it, but the woman caters to men. There was something I have to shift so much and really position and understand that yes, I can be a strong, powerful woman, but not in a wrong way, not to use the power to kill people or abuse people, but to truly show how we can use the powerful ways of living and being to be a solid, good foundation for ourselves, for our family, for our friends, and for our partners, for people that we influence.
Very nice. So we are very close to end of the show.
Okay.
Maybe we have 5 minutes left. So how about you inspire my entrepreneurs. Some are on the sidelines. They're not sure if they want to be in the business or not. And you are a very passionate person, I'm a very passionate person, so can you help us, like, if they can really align their passion and their business, especially the people who are going to start the business now in future? So how someone can really truly identify the passion, and pursuing is another part of the game.
Sure. Knowing, first of all, what that passion is and understanding your why, what I mentioned earlier, by really being in tune with yourself internally, not what others tell you you should or you're good at, but what do you believe and what makes you to jump out of the bed and excited. Is it playing tennis? Is it going to rollerblade? Is it seeing the friends? Is it creating a new webinar? Is it writing a book? What is it? So you have some hobbies, so you have some types of things and interests, right? But you also have a very strong core elements. Like for me was a leadership to the level that I even finished master's degree, and I wanted to also play in a bigger box or outside of the box in my mind with the larger players around the world. And I knew that I want to also look at two different approaches for whatever that might the case be. So one of the key things is identifying is the core piece to start with, and only way you can do that. And if it's more than one passion, look at them as a whole set and see what they complement and how they complement one another, and then how you are unleashing that. And one of my actually very high in the main program, high performance impact evolution method, it's all about that around the leadership transformation, impact and legacy, but unleashing that passion in a right way that not only going to help you to be recognized, influential, but also to monetize on that passion. And then key is obviously, as you know, Shawn, we can't just give up. It's so many hard moments and days. Things not go very smooth as we expect. It's not instant gratification. Nothing great and good has happened overnight. It's perseverance. It's endurance. It's a marathon.
Okay, so like, do you help really small businesses? How small or how big they have to be in order to work with you or hire you as a coach? Or do you have any online coaching or something? What is the easiest simplified version of you?
It's a simplified version of me. It's IzabelaLundberg.com. It's my personal website where you can browse and really gain a lot of great insights what exactly I'm doing and how I can assist. I help people that are truly serious, even if they're solo entrepreneurs, that are so ready to transform their life and take it to tremendous and speed of light to the next level or levels in their career path and growth. But overall life, looking all the pieces together. And then obviously figuring out what is in place from business side, what is missing, what is lacking, and then reposition and restructuring, either from people around you or model of your business. I mean, it's just so many different aspects of it. But obviously, it is a qualifier who I work with, and actually it shows on my website, my story, ideal people that I resonate very well, that I actually have tremendous success working with. It is work. I can't do work for you. I can do a lot of stuff for you, but you have to be committed and you have to do your piece. So again, IzabelaLundberg.com is the best way. And one of the beautiful things to challenge is because you are such a generous and graceful person, I also wanted to offer a free coaching session. And it's more actually consulting. I am a consultant, guys. Yes, that has some traits of coaching, and it's slightly different, not like a million other coaches that are out there. I understand what it takes to create success, what it takes to transform individuals, teams, and organization. So if you also go to freeconsultingsession.com, you will get opportunity to book a session with me for free and have a chance to chat and look what can I assist you with or which directions I can point out. So
I will be the first one booking you for the free consultation the minute we finish this podcast. And you're so generous. I really appreciate that. That gift means a lot, and we will put all the links on all our websites. So it has been very inspirational, and you are truly the word messenger.
Thank you so much, Shawn. And one last thing I wanted to say, just because of popular demand, I have something called the blueprint leadership blueprint, because so many people want to be better leaders, or they wanted to see how they what traits they're having and what they're missing to be better leaders. And I also will be giving everybody a free copy of the leadership blueprint so they can really figure out where they are versus where they want to be. Everybody wants to assess accurately where they are and then really figure out where they want to be. So this leadership blueprint will definitely give you that opportunity as well.
I know for anything, blueprint is the real roadmap. At least they can identify where they are and they can at least see where they want to be.
Exactly.
Okay, so before you go, let us spend a couple of more minutes, okay? Because when I'm listening to you, I'm so mesmerized. So I have a question. What is the best way to find a real goal? What is the goal setting? How can you help my listeners and viewers about that?
I know that a lot of times people have too many goals and they get very confused and diluted and they cannot manage because energetically they're pulled in so many different directions. I personally strongly believe in identifying the highest, most important goal that you really need to accomplish, that is set up with measure time and deadlines and true reason why, and then really go through that whole process of all the pieces and elements of the goal setting and then goal implementing. What I learned that a lot of people have the worst execution. That is nothing different from Fortune 500 all the way to solo entrepreneur. So don't feel bad if that's you. But it is also figuring out how do you execute, how you stay consistent, how you stay with it, how you continue to be passionate and positive and optimistic, even though you're not necessarily getting yet the tractions or results you're looking. And also look at what's maybe missing and adjust, right? A lot of times we have a clear idea, this is what it takes. But sometimes it's additional pieces that we're not willing to look at or not willing to adjust to. So it's very important to also, after you identify the goal and deadlines and priorities and all the pieces in order to accomplish the roadmap of that goal, which is, again, it's a blueprint for that too. It is really about commitment to implement it on regular basis.
Yeah,
as anything requires practice and requires efforts, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't implement anything, then it's just a dream and idea. Ideas are a dime a dozen,
Exactly, and I love what years ago Les Brown said, the graveyard sites are the most untapped people's potential and most burial sites of people's dreams. And when you think about it, someone who survived wars and genocide and ethnic cleansing, and people that I met from all over the world in similar situation, when you look at it, it's like we have to pick up our pieces and we have to start over, because it is the reason why we're here, right? And then we wanted to make sure that that reason is fulfilled in the highest possible way with most impact. Otherwise, what's the point? If it takes the same effort to make $1 million or just a mediocre $100,000, what would you go for? True. Right?
10 million.
Or absolutely, I'm just saying, of course. Or 10 billion. I mean, 10 billion, it's, again, as we know, it's a mindset. It's a mindset of wanting, desiring, and then going after it.
I know earlier I was going to tell you, your goal is to transform 1 million people. I think later on you're going to change that to 1 billion, okay?
Thank you. You think I'm shooting too low. Okay, that's great to hear, Shawn. Okay.
Yes. I was going to tell you at that time, but I thought I'll wait till the end,
Thank you. That means a lot to me. And again, I'm very grateful for opportunity to chat with you.
I mean, you are doing such a wonderful thing in your life. You are just helping people, pursuing your passion, and every day you're growing and becoming a better version of you. What else? You are practicing what you preach,
Thank you, and I think that's so true, because I'm also being a spotlight as a leader, and reason how I'm a spotlight is a lot of times I'm being featured on LinkedIn, on large LinkedIn groups, and my presence is very strong on LinkedIn, for example, even though I leverage other social media, and it's so not forgiving, because that is the decision makers. They're all decision makers, people that over 50% make over $100,000 a year, the people that are leading either small to large teams, decision makers that are also CEOs of large or medium small companies. So they look and measure and judge How do you write? What did you write? Does it have a meaning? Does it have a purpose? How relevant it is? How new? How innovative? So it is the environment now that we very quickly can judge somebody's brand and what somebody stands for, and who is true and genuine, who is real, who is not. So it's also very important. One thing that I want to share with your audience as entrepreneurs, it's so important to know what do you stand for and what you will not allow to jeopardize, because you only have one name. And a lot of times I hear people change the names over their period of life because simply it's not anymore easy to hide some of the major flaws when people so recklessly put something out there. People are not as forgiving in terms of that. So you have to be very conscious and consistent, and not only as a leader, but as someone who is aspiring to be a leader in order to achieve the results you have seen already in your life as a very successful entrepreneur, Shawn.
Thank you. And these days, I mean, you are the brand. You are your own brand. You don't need any other celebrities' endorsement. If you do it right, and if you're using all the social media and all the platforms correctly, you are your own celebrity. You are the brand.
That is so true. And then actually a few years ago, I unleashed my own concept of Brain 4.0. And I spoke in New York and I spoke in LA. And it was interesting. I had a high-tech entrepreneurial companies all the way to Fortune 500. And they were blown away of the concept, what that looks like and means. And this is the concept now that I actually speak and get a lot of speaking gigs around, because it hit a chord with everyone that are recognizing how can I be even part of the larger footprint or larger organization and still be my own independent brand. And specific as an entrepreneur, how can you be effective brand just based on who you are? And then just to piggyback on that, Shawn, it's so important to also, I put myself, by writing this book, out there, right? I shared pieces of me that showed tremendous vulnerability. And because of stories and how they're written, I want to disclose something that I'm extremely grateful. I'm going to have a film-featured movie coming up as a result of it.
Wow.
And I never imagined, because I never felt like my story is so important. I never felt the stories of others that shared with me is important to that level, that extent, till I dive deeply into that and allowed my vulnerability and look at how can I generate the most impact, right? And with that mindset, not only allowed me to have the status of international bestseller and endorsements from people that resonate with the message, and book forward for my first book by a very accomplished author, and very, very successful entrepreneur, which I will let your audience to discover who that is. But in the same time, now I'm blown away. I'm being asked to be on major entertainment company as a leadership advisory director or officer, and also to have an opportunity to have my own movie production.
I'm so happy for you. I'm telling you, I'm so mesmerized. I'm so happy, and I'm really happy for my listeners and viewers also, because you came to my show. And when I'm looking at your book and I'm listening to you and looking at you, and I'm thinking, that's what I do here. Like, you wrote your book and you shared. And one of the coaching I provide, I don't know in the camera you can see or not, this is one of my book and coaching, Get Published, Get Noticed. So yes, that's how you can brand yourself. I mean, during the number one, I tell people, during the process of writing about you or whatever is your business or your life, it's a transformation. Just the process itself is a transformation. You become a better version of you. Just going through the process, you publish or not, doesn't matter. Just by writing your story or writing your thoughts, it changes. There's a permanent change and growth inside you.
Absolutely, and all of us are changing, and everything's changing around us. So that's the reason I'm saying we have to learn, and this is what I also teach, and I help others to discover on their own, to embrace change and transformation, and also go with that, so that to use that wave to help them, to propel them and excel them in anything they're trying to accomplish.
Okay, I know we extended this show by 5 minutes, and I had to tell you one thing before we say bye. I had to request you, like, when you launch the next book, this will be the first place where you will announce it and come for the interview. And
absolutely, Shawn. And also when it comes more details around the movie, I would love to also share that information with you, because I think that your audience, entrepreneurs that are struggling and dealing with a lot of complex issues, not everybody have a strengths in all pieces of that are essential to be successful. So I will gladly share as in the future all the value with your audience as well.
Yeah, very good. So good luck with the next book, and good luck with your own movie. And we will be looking forward. Thanks for time and efforts and helping me.
Oh, absolutely. And again, all your viewers, please come to IzabelaLundberg.com. Check the links that he will share in this podcast. You have 2 free gifts. freeconsultingsession.com. That is one. And then also on my website, you will have a chance to click on free blueprints to understand where you are and where you want to be. So
yes, I will be the first one doing that in next few minutes. So thanks. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you, Shawn. Thank you so much. Have a massive continuous success. Thank you.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
LaptopUniverse.com CEO Indu Chhabra announced the launch of BuybackQueen.com. This newly launched reverse e-commerce website buys back used old electronics, old iPhones, iPads, and all other smart devices directly from the consumers. You should not throw your old phone away because your trash may be hitting gold. Buyback Queen wants your old device and will pay top dollars for it. The process is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Fast payments, free shipping, free data wipe, risk-free transaction. Let us make the world a cleaner place and make money by selling our device on BuybackQueen.com.